First of all, thank you to being ready for this interview. We haven't seen us a long time. Brandie, we don't meet us due to the pandemic and the not possible media coverage there. And Sophie, I think we last time saw us in The Hague, or was it in Stad?
Wow, yeah, long time ago.
But even better that it's now. We have new topics to talk about, and maybe in the future we can also meet in the mixed zone. So before we start the questions and your answers about the new team, Brandie, one short recap regarding to the Olympics. Have been your first Olympics after Rio, where you have been the support staff, I think. So even if all the fun stuff beside playing the games have not been there, tell me and all the listeners what did I miss this time.
Yeah, no, maybe not any of the fun and random stuff off the court, but I think on the court it was extremely satisfying to get there, to achieve a goal after so many years of training, and then the additional mental and financial and just a lot of stress from the pandemic to get to games that were possibly not going to happen. So I think it was a great way to overcome a lot of difficult times and end it with something that was pretty magical.
And have there been a little bit this Olympic feeling, even if all around was really much limited? Was it special in compared to other events, or was it all cancelled?
No, it still was special. There were definitely moments. I think maybe you had to really work a little bit harder to find them, or, you know, they weren't maybe as in your face as you thought, like the moments of first stepping into the court, the moment of having a uniform that was personally made for me, and to be there with Heather after talking about it for so long, and to have our team and just the staff and even other athletes like really start to show some excitement about finally being there. And you could tell it was everyone's goal for a very, very long time. And just, we could all look at each other and be very proud. And so those moments made it feel different.
Okay, sounds good. And I think it's a great achievement after 4 years of, or it have been 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years, folks.
You teamed up with Sophie after Heather retired. So again, first the question to you, Brandie. Sorry, Sophie, we'll talk in 1 second. So Brandie, have you been happy to have this new goal after this years of growing together with Heather?
Yeah, no, I'm extremely excited. I feel renewed. I feel refreshed. I think that I'm extremely grateful that Sophie's even here and that it's an opportunity, and we're asking her to do a lot, changing positions and just coming into this with a short period to qualify for the Olympics. And so for me to have an opportunity to do this with someone that's willing and capable is already a great start. And then outside of that, I think that I wouldn't be able to do justice for everything that I've learned with being with Heather if I wasn't able to then pass that down, pass that wisdom, pass that experience down to others, and really challenge myself to do things differently with a different teammate.
And like I already mentioned, Sophie, you have not played on the World Tour so much in the past, but the people who followed you, we always saw that you practiced and worked out a lot. So was this your mindset through the last years to be ready when such one of the top players call?
Yeah, I think I always knew that down the line at some point, one of the top athletes would be available. When that time came, I wasn't sure if that was going to be after this past Olympics or after the Paris Olympics. So I was just kind of doing the best that I could to be the most prepared for that moment that I had a conversation with one of the athletes. I was definitely excited when Brandie reached out because a couple of years ago, I started to dabble in defense in hopes that Brandie would reach out. She was kind of the top athlete that I was looking forward to having a conversation with. So it all kind of worked out in the best way. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, also would have been my question. I think when we last met, you have been a full-time blocker. So when do you decided to start working on the defense?
It was probably about a year ago, a year and a half ago, that I decided to play a little bit of defense. During the pandemic, I was kind of forced to train a lot with guys. So I didn't really have too many female training partners. And when you're playing against guys, it just makes more sense for me to be in the back because I am not that big of a force at the net on a men's height net. So it was a good experience to kind of be forced into that role a little bit. But no, I just kind of wanted to be prepared in the best way I could, whether that was blocking, defense, left side, right side, for whenever one of the top athletes had a conversation with me. So I would say it was about a year ago that I started to kind of dabble in defense.
And Brandie, why do you think that Sophie is a perfect fit for your new goals?
Well, so many reasons. I mean, as an individual, like even just with what you guys are talking about, she's going to find a way to make it work for her own passion, her own goals. And so someone that's driven and can think outside the box and be so prepared for really big goals that, again, she is totally capable and aligned for, then I definitely want to be around people who can want it for themselves. And then also just her athleticism, her genuine support for other athletes. And she's, I think, the future of the sport and has been in the sport for so long that I have so much to learn from her as well.
And Sophie, how was it? And tell us the situation when Brandie called you. How was the situation? Just give us a short insight view of your feelings.
Well, initially I reached out to Brandie kind of as a joke. Not really as a joke, but more in like hopes of her wanting to play in Itapema with me in November. So she was in her off season and I was looking for a partner to play with because it was such a good opportunity for athletes who don't have a lot of points. Not a lot of teams were competing. So I reached out and I was like, hey, can you do me a favor and just play with me so that I can use your points? And, you know, we're friends, so maybe this will work out. And she was in her off season, so she wasn't 100% prepared to play in a competition. So she politely declined. And so I went to the tournament with another athlete. But then after that tournament, we kind of stayed in touch a little bit. And I was actually coaching at the university that I work for when she texted me asking me to come and visit her to train and just have a couple of sessions on the court. And I remember like freaking out. I was like shaking. I showed all the rest of the coaching staff just because it felt so surreal that something that I had hoped would happen over the past couple of years finally came to fruition. So yeah, I remember exactly where I was standing, the exact moment that she reached out to want to at least step on the court with me.
And the first practice together, how was this situation?
The first practice was interesting. I had just flown from Itapema to Toronto to then Louisiana, where Brandie was staying. And Brandie was in the heat of her off season. So we were both like, no judgments. We're just here to kind of feel it out, see if we can agree on the court, see if things feel natural. But there wasn't any sort of high expectation for either one of us to kind of show up and be in peak performance, I think. But yeah, no, it was a good time. It was a good opportunity to step on the court together. And it felt very comfortable, even though there was definite moments where you were like, okay, you guys are tired.
Yeah, sounds fun, but maybe that's a good start when both are not on the top of the practice season, so everyone can improve, I think. But Brandie, you kept the coach Heather and you already had, which is Ricardo de Freitas. I don't know if I spell it right, or which is the husband of Barbara and the coach of the silver medalist Olympic team, Agatha and Barbara, back in the day. So how does the practice look like? And Sophie, question to you, how was it to have such a new coach, and we saw some videos from you where you catching your breath after the practice. So how is the situation?
Yeah, I mean, well, firstly, it was nice that Rico wanted to continue to coach as well, because he's been doing this for so long and has obviously coached at the highest levels. And then Sophie was also very open to continuing to work with him. I was very excited to continue with him. I felt that he's one of the few coaches I genuinely connect with and understand and appreciate his professionalism and directness. I think he's very methodical, and that's something I appreciate about beach volleyball. So his passion for the sport, his willingness to make anything work. He moved to Canada to train us for a bit. We come down to Brazil whenever we can. I think there's definite benefits to both, and so we're trying to make the best of the situation. And for someone to have that in their personality on top of being extremely organized and experienced and gives good feedback and is just a good person to talk to, is like no question the kind of coach that I want. So I'm excited for all of us to keep building on the relationship. We only worked with him for the year before the Olympics, so it's still fairly new. But yeah, it makes me feel very comfortable about having him on the team, and something that I could offer to Sophie that I think so far is going well. But
yeah, he's definitely, I think our team in general, everybody is just very direct and very intense and very competitive. And I think that he kind of knows how to facilitate that in the best way possible. So for me, it's been a new experience coming to Brazil, having, you know, not just one coach, but have 5 coaches with Brandie and myself, and just kind of cultivating this really high performance, high intense, mentally and physically exhausting environment before we take off for our first tournament. So he, again, like Brandie said, is very understanding, very passionate about the game, and he really cares about us as people. But then when we step on the court, it's very business. It's very direct conversation, which is something that we both really appreciate. So I'm looking forward to kind of growing with him and growing as a team and seeing kind of how that transfers onto the court and into success this season.
And you are now in Rio, like we already talked about. So you already mentioned it a bit. So practice in Rio looks like a little bit different compared to being in Toronto. Give us a little bit an insight of a practice day. I think at the Copacabana there are many sub coaches, so to say, which help your coach to throw balls on you and everything, right?
yeah, we have an awesome team here. So we're more in Leblon rather than in Copacabana, which is a beautiful area in the beach. And we live walking distance from the beach. Our gym and our physio is also walking distance. So everything is well suited for the training environment. We wake up early. We have our practices at 7 a.m. and we get there. The coaches already have, you know, chairs, umbrellas, lines, court set up, balls out, everything is prepared. We just show up, we do our warm up, we come and do our work. All of the coaches are very focused and intense as well. Even if they're just throwing a ball in like hundreds of times, they take it very seriously. So it's great. And they all have different personalities, which I enjoy, depending on, you know, sometimes you need someone that's, you know, a little more relaxed or a little more intense. And to have so many people, these like 4 to 5 great men that are supporting our dream and really believe in us and are happy to tell us every day that we're doing great, even though sometimes you feel
not.
like it.
That's good.
It's a lot of energy, and it's hard not to thrive and to show up and do your best when everybody around you is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it really does feel like one big team, which is really great. Even though we've only been here for about a month, it really does feel like you have so many avenues of support, whether it's from the coaches directly or from physio or from, you know, the gym. It's all so amazing to kind of feel that they're all a part of this big journey with us. So it's nice.
We learned that it's also a little bit of mental coaching when they say you passing the ball perfect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What are the main topics you're working on it at the moment?
Oh, good question.
A little bit of everything. I mean, it's a new team. So I think we just had to rule out what was kind of our style, which we're still figuring out. I think, like everyone in the world tour, having consistency on your side out. We're just trying to run our offense and see what options there are. I think Sophie and I get into trying to make everything too perfect all the time, where we're trying to relax a little bit more, really take advantage of our athleticism, of our communication, and trusting each other to be able to play free. So kind of breaking some of those past ideas of what the sport can look like and make something new with this team.
Yeah, for sure.
And during such training camp, you also be able to be together in an apartment and learn a little bit the skills as a new team. So what did you learn about each other, what you have not known before? Maybe the special of cooking food or sleeping, want to sleep a little bit longer?
I will say that Brandie loves her spices. She is a big foodie. She will tell you all of the best restaurants. She will tell you like she just has such a vast knowledge of food. And especially when we're cooking here, she is not happy if we don't have a variety of spices. So she can't just do very like average Joe kind of cooking. It has to be elaborate. It has to be kind of something that she's really going to enjoy the experience of eating. Whereas I'm just like, I'm eating for sustenance. Like you're eating to eat your proteins, your carbs, like whatever you need. And she's like, no, it must taste amazing. So if you need food advice, go to Brandie.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I just remember when I have been on the Olympics at Rio, I would need to have food advice because we just tried to catch something and it was most of the time the same. So good to know, Brandie. I will come back to this. So how was it for you, Brandie?
No, it's been great. I think Sophie is just such a lighthearted and genuine person to talk to. It's been nice to just know that there could be a friendship there that's sustained off the court. We have a lot of things in common, whether it's our style and how we dress, and she's just an amazing person, so full of like unique beauty and just lust for life. And then food-wise, we definitely agree on charcuterie boards. Yeah. We bring the Euro into our lives all the time. Lots of cheese, lots of meats, lots of bread. So we enjoy spending some time together and just picking at different breads and cheeses and just talking and just opening up about life and goals and ideas. And so she's definitely good company until she has to go to bed. And then she's an early sleeper. So I'm a night person and she will go to sleep. So that's been fun too. Maybe she'll teach me how to get more sleep.
Yeah, I think though both of you can teach the other something. You with the food and Sophie to not stay awake so long. So or in a few hours you're leaving for the first tournament together on the new World Tour. It's named Pro Tour. So it's in Mexico. And how excited are you that the new season, or maybe the season is official last year already started, but the new team season will now start and you need to start in the qualification. So also a brand new situation for you, Brandie. So how do you feel about, or what do you looking for at the tournament next week?
I'm looking forward to fighting and winning, and just I don't say winning as in like, yeah, we're just going to win the whole tournament, but just really fighting for every point and winning on the things that we are working on. And no matter the level, qualification or gold medal, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It takes a certain level of skill and passion and competitiveness to make sure you close the game with everything that you have. So I think it's our time now. We've been working for the last couple of months and we're anxious and we're ready to go, and just to see and get more information, more feedback, more places for us to grow, and a lot of places for us to be proud of. So I'm ready to fight next to her.
I would say the same thing. I think we've done a lot of good preparation over the past 2 months, and it's just going to be nice to go out and finally start competing again. It's been a while since I've played on tour for a full year, had a team, or, had some sort of scheduling and structure. So it's just going to be nice to be able to go out and, kind of like Brandie said, be proud of the things that we're doing a good job of, but also get some feedback and figure out what are the best ways for us to grow going forward, because it is such a long season. So I'm just excited to kind of see how this all transfers onto the court, really.
How do you see the new system of this Elite 16, where it's difficult to qualify when you have a partner with not so much points? So how do you see the new system, and how do you think is it possible to plan your growing as on tour?
Yeah, I think when I first was hearing about the system, I was a little bit resistant, just because I didn't understand really what was going on. Now I think I'm a little more optimistic, even in the position that we're in, where we're not in this guaranteed safe place in the Elite 16. I think that the level of work that we are going to do, and to be able to earn our spot there in the Elite 16, that I definitely feel like we will be rewarded because of the way the structure is set. And so there is something very exciting about how much more professional the beach volleyball circuit is going to look. I think that some of these really big changes, a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles have to happen when things are in transition and they're shifting. But I think for the last end goal of what this vision is, it's really exciting for people like us who want to earn our spot, who want to fight for it, who want to be rewarded properly as a professional if you are the best. And if we're not, then we will work hard and we'll keep going. So we don't want anything comfortable. We don't want anything free and easy. That's just not the way life is. That's not the way sport is. So I think it suits our personalities.
Yes.
Yeah, and how's the strategy of events you plan to play?
Yeah, so we're starting with challenge, but I think because of the way Elite 16 structure is so many days out, the timing I don't think will work for us to have an opportunity to qualify for Elite until maybe after World Championships. So really we're just focusing on qualifying for World Championships. So up until then, we have a good idea of which challenge events we need to play or not play, depending on our results. And then after World Championships, we'll have to reassess and plan again. But luckily, we've all learned how to plan over and over and over again, thanks to the pandemic. So this is pretty good. A couple months is pretty good for a plan.
Yeah, it looks, it sounds a little bit difficult, but I think also your coach have some ideas and know where to calculate the points and what makes sense. So Sophie, what is the event you're looking for most when you just say you have enough points? So what is the event you love to play again, or maybe the first time at together with Brandie?
I think it's going to be World Champs. I have not played in a senior World Championships. So I'm just looking forward to hopefully qualifying for that and just being able to have kind of more of a major event under my belt and just kind of have that experience with somebody who is so vastly experienced in those competitions. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward. I think that would be the most critical event, the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
And it's in Rome.
I have family in Rome.
Lots of food and bread.
So we'll be very excited. Yeah, lots of charcuterie.
There are also this year the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Is this also one of the goal to qualify there? I'm not sure. Last time it was just one team.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a major games that we're interested in trying to qualify for. You can only have one team from Canada qualify, so they'll take whoever the top ranked Canadian team is. So hopefully by the time of qualification, that's us.
How different is this kind of event when you have a multi-sport event and not only your own sport?
I've only been to one multi-sport event in my whole career, so but it was exciting to at least learn from other athletes. It made everything so much more grand. That it wasn't just you. And I like that beach volleyball felt small compared to all these big teams, because it made us it made me at least feel very unique and special. And then just to learn from other people and see other types of athletes. And yeah, it's just, the bigger it is, the better it is for me. So.
Yeah, I think this is the good answer, and maybe to see other athletes in the gym and then compare it with your part is maybe also a good thing to relax after a tough game, I think. But am I right that the main goal together is to reach Paris 24?
Yes,
that's right.
I just need to ask this to have this recorded.
Just in case. She's just doing me a favor. Really, that's what this is.
Just in case we not see us until then, I can take this recording. The question which also fits to this topic with multisports event: in which sport do you would have been nearly pro when you not would be a beach volleyball player? So which sport do you love and play maybe in your free time?
Soccer.
Tennis.
I think I don't want to keep your time too much. So tonight you fly to Mexico, right? How long does the flight take?
9 hours,
maybe,
something like that, with our layovers.
Yeah, but then the season and the journey really starts. I keep crossing my fingers, and then I look forward that maybe, or at the World Champs, which is one of the goals you want to reach, we have the chance to talk in person. And until then, thank you for everything and all the insights, and I keep my fingers crossed, and much success, and have fun together. But it looks like that you have enough topics to laugh about.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for your time.